I'd like to call a North Huntington Township Board of Commissioners regular meeting for Wednesday, October 19th, 2022 at 7 p.m. Roll call, Manager Falk.
Commissioner Stump,
Here.
Commissioner Atwood,
Here.
Commissioner Gray,
Here.
Commissioner Zona,
Here.
Commissioner Wingren,
Here.
Commissioner Gauze,
Here.
President Hagus.
Here, can everyone please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance and opening prayer by Pastor Sharon?
Heavenly Father, we thank you this evening for the many blessings you have poured out upon us. We thank you for this incredible community that you have given to us. I pray this evening that your presence will be real and that decisions will be made that will benefit many. God bless us to be a blessing to others. In Jesus' name we pray. Amen.
Thank you. If any residents would like to speak tonight, you would please sign the book at the podium. Thank you. First resident's James. Just come to the podium, state your name and address for the record, please.
James Keenan, 700 Legger Road, North Huntington. I got something on the news here that raised the question, and I'm questioning the use of the old Hartford Heights school building. I saw an incident that happened at Oliver, and they made a big point out of telling everybody that the assault was caused by somebody that had been a former resident of the Hartford Heights facility, which is, I understand, is some sort of a school for problem people or something on that order. But I don't think we need that type of facility in North Huntington, and I think that the board or someone should have advertised that the people knew that that school was there. Now, I've had a lot of some problems back my way, 1, 2 o'clock in the morning with people in my yard. And for those that know where I live, you got to really be out of your way, and I'm sure they're not there for any good purpose. And after that this happened, there's been, in the last month, there's been 2 low-flying helicopters flying the area as if they were looking for somebody. And then you hear about this thing on the news of what this facility is. I don't think that is appropriate to be there, and if it is there, they ought to be fenced in or have some sort of security a lot better than what they evidently have, from what I've seen. That is the one thing I have to say. The other thing, and it's quite often it happens here, but Legger Road, since they opened that bridge, is a racetrack. Everybody knew it was going to happen. They didn't do any of the improvements to the road, so the people come up over the hill past Leonard Lane, in that one-lane section, and they're irritated, so as soon as they get past that, they put the pedal to the metal. It's a job getting my mail. My wife and I have both been darn near hit getting the mail out of my mailbox. It's hard getting in and out of my driveway. The speed limit is 30 miles an hour. One day I came across the bridge and was following the car up, and my wife says, "This looks like one of the racers." So I clocked him, 45 miles an hour when he went past my driveway. I was behind him in a pickup. Now, I have the right-of-way there, and I'm welcoming if they want to come down with a police car and sit in that driveway, fine, but that's where all the speeding's going on as they're going up that hill. And we still have a bit of a spring dumping water problem on us this winter when it gets icy. It's really going to be one heck of a mess. It's a traffic problem. And the opening the bridge really put quite a job to the traffic. It's amazing how much traffic is on Legger Road since they opened that bridge. And as I said, they're flying through there. I can even tell you, there's a couple cars in particular that you see all the time that go zooming past. If you're getting the mail out, they don't even move over. They see how close they can come to you. I appreciate if they do something.
Thank you, sir. Next resident's Diana. If you just come to the podium, say your name and address for the record, please.
Hello, my name is Diana Falk. I live at 921 Castleview Drive. I come before you as a resident and also as the director of the Norwin Public Library. You're probably aware there's a ballot question in November that will have dire consequences for the library if it's successful. The question proposes to reduce our funding by nearly 84% from our local funding. As stewards of the township budget, you can certainly understand the catastrophic effect this would have on services. As soon as next summer, we would be forced to draw down on our reserves to maintain our operations and maintain our building. $2 million is a lot of money for a reserve, and we're lucky to have it. It was the single gift of a donor decades ago, and through conservative financial stewardship, our board has grown it to the amount that it is today. But it will be eaten away very quickly if we lose the local funding. So I hope that you will all consider voting no in November. And what's more, as leaders of our community, I hope you'll reach out to your constituents and let them know exactly what is at stake. For the average contribution of $27 per year per household, we save the residents of this community $3 million every year in borrowed materials alone. That doesn't count all the assistance we give through technology assistance, reference assistance, programs, job searches. There's a rumor out there that I made $300,000 in 2021. That's not true, but I often joke that if I had $1 for every time I help someone fill out a job application, I might get pretty close. So please consider what's at stake, because it's a lot more than the $22 this question will propose to save each household. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Our last resident tonight is Kim. Just your name and address for the record, please.
Okay. Hi, my name is Kim Brow, 912 Sarah Lynn Drive, North Huntington, PA. I came last Thursday to talk about pickleball, and you weren't here, Dan, so I just came today to refresh everybody's mind. So that's all I wanted to just remind everybody that, yes, pickleball would be fun. Thank you.
Thanks. Response to citizen input.
Chief, in regards to Legger Road and Mr. Keenan, could we set up a speed trap over there, please, and sit in his driveway?
Well, I would set the speed monitors first.
Okay.
To get a determination what we truly have going on.
Okay.
Right now, they're out on several locations of high-volume cars in high-volume areas. We're actually running one right now. That Manager Falk responded to an email to a resident on a main interresidential area. So as soon as that studies are done, and if they have any waiting, as soon as they're finished, I'll direct my traffic officers to get it over there, and we'll see what kind of volumes and speeds we're getting.
I appreciate it. Thank you.
Yep.
Thanks.
Chief, do you also want to touch on a relationship with the Hartford Heights?
Yeah, I mean, Hartford Heights is not a prison. It's not a juvenile detention facility. It's a school. That's what it is. They're a network of, it's a school. They have schools all across western Pennsylvania, Latrobe and everywhere else. I mean, I don't know what you were referring to. I didn't see any of that. It's not like any other school. If a student graduated from there and then went on to do something bad, that doesn't hold the school responsible for his actions. So,
No, he was, I say one thing, this guy was there. And it's
Mr.
a
Cannon,
school for problem
It's
children.
really not a debate, so go ahead, Chief.
yeah, again, it's not a prison. It's a school, and that's what it is. I mean, we have one here. They're all over western Pennsylvania. I don't know, it's not a juvenile detention facility, it's not a lockdown facility, it's a school, there's teachers there, education goes on there every day. It may be an alternative school in some cases, it may be a support school in some cases, but nonetheless, that's what it is, from my understanding. And we have a SRO that's actually there. We have a school resource officer that works there Monday through Friday during school hours. We have a police officer there every day. And from what I'm getting the feedback back, he's doing a wonderful job, and Adelphi could not be happier with his performance and his interaction with the students out there. Very positive results coming back from there, from us and our interaction with them. So that's all I have.
Thank you, Chief.
And then, Mr. Elbert, I think we've heard this complaint also before with the spring water running out on the road, and I think you addressed that maybe last year. Can you refresh my memory on that, what that is from?
If I remember correctly, we directed the water authority to go. I mean, it's a state road. There's nothing that we can do there to, resolve the problem. We had the water authority out there looking at the issue.
That was the water leak, and that slowed it down. But there's still springs, and they're coming on. You can see all the asphalt broken up and everything. And it's been dry, so it isn't bad. Well, as soon as it starts raining, the water's coming up through the road, and that hill right in front of where I live is a sheet ice, and it's gonna present a problem. The state says, well, we'll solve it for it. That was the.
Well, unfortunately, that's all we can do is when the time comes, and if it does become a problem, I could certainly notify the state of the condition. Whether they act on it, I mean, that's up to them. I wish I could tell you something differently, but I really can't.
Rich, last year, Rick will, confirm this. I worked diligently with Rick and with the folks at the state, and even the folks that showed up on that roadside and dug up that roadside. So to a degree, what we've got is a really unique situation. We've got chlorinated water, and we also have spring water. Mm-hmm. They ran the test. They can see both. We did what we could, and unfortunately.
It did help considerably what you did with chlorinated.
With the chlorinated water.
But now that it starts to rain and everything, the spring water is coming back. It's coming off of private property.
And it's coming off of private property, but, when it presents a public hazard, I think we're allowed to step in. Now, that's a state road.
Right.
But I do know that. So I think I'm gonna move this venue up to Mr. Dunbar's office and get Jennifer on it over there like we did last year. Because it needs to be resolved before, honest to God, before something really, really bad happens. Putting more salt on the road is just not the right answer from the state. It's just not.
Unfortunately, these things happen. A lot of times, that's our solution to some of these issues on township roads. We have to put salt on it until we can resolve it, if we can resolve it. And, I can't speak for the state, but again, like you had said, these are things that Representative Dunbar or Senator Ward need to address. And by all means, I'll do whatever I can, but
Okay.
we don't have much, from my level, I don't have much level or leverage with these guys. It'd be up
I
to
will
you
tell
to-
you this, Rick, I make a promise to you, and I'll keep my promise like I did last year, and I'll make another promise to you. I'll get with Representative Dunbar.
Helped out quite a bit with the other thing, but
Thank you.
part of the problem still
Yeah.
exists.
Yeah.
The state's telling me it comes off private property. That's North Huntington's job
Yeah.
to.
We'll follow up
They never
with the
thought
state
that
and
football
see what we
was
can do.
involved in their life.
I'll work on it for you, I promise.
All right.
Thanks.
The next resident was Diana, speaking on the public library. And a response to that?
I do have a couple questions for her.
If you don't mind coming back up real quick, thank you.
So the $2.9 million was a gift.
It was a gift decades ago. As far as back as I can trace it in our QuickBooks, it was 1997, but it predates one of our longest-serving board members. She was like, oh, that was way before my time. But it was originally a lump sum of Irwin Bank stock. And in 1997, it was worth about $250,000. And when S&T and the Irwin Bank finally merged in 2009, the library diversified. At that time, it was worth about worth $1 million. But we diversified, participated in a very largest bull market in history. So the 2.9 is a little misleading. It wasn't 2.9. Current market value is closer to $2 million. There was 400. The proponents of the question, there was about 400 in cash. That is a reflection of our cash flow. When the school district starts collecting the tax, we receive our allocation starting in August through the tail end of the year, and then in January they wind it up. So that really provides cash flow for the first 6 months, 7 months of the year. So that when they talk about the 2.9, that's what they're talking about. The investment account, and then the cash flow of about $400,000 that was collected through the school district.
Okay. Thank you. I just wanted to clarify that. You brought it up. I just wanted to clarify.
Yeah, no, I'm happy to do that because, we recognize that it's a lot of money. We're lucky to have it. We're lucky that it's unrestricted. It's not unusual for libraries our size, even in our own county, to have similar accounts, but they are usually restricted. So we are fortunate, but we would certainly hate to see it go towards operating funds. Sometimes we'll use some income for those purposes, but we certainly don't want to rely on it for operating funds.
Sure. I've looked at your annual reports. Your budget is much more than just that tax amount. There's other funds being brought in. I just wanted to make sure that I was clear on everything. You did a great job explaining. Thank you.
Yeah, you're welcome. If I can add, you alluded to our state funding, which is our next second biggest category. Our state funding will be compromised if, in order to receive state funding and the state subsidy, we have to raise $5 per capita, which, if successful, this question will take us below that. So when we went to the voters in 2000, we had two problems. Our old building was collapsing and had a lot of problems, structural issues that couldn't be overcome, as well as we were struggling to meet the $5 per capita, and that was a result of this. Most, if not all, community libraries receive some allocation from their municipalities. Our library has never been funded that way. So instead of having a line item in your budget, and the Irwin budget, North Irwin budget, the system was devised. And I have to say, I think it's more transparent because everybody knows what they're paying. And they certainly know now what they're paying for the library. So it allows us to plan and take on a mortgage, plan for the future. So it really is a more transparent, solid, steady way to do business for us. Thank you. Is there anything else?
I just wanted to thank you for coming and speaking to the public because we do stream these through our YouTube channel.
Okay.
And I think there's a lot of misinformation out there. I support the library, and I think that the proposal is a little bit drastic. And what I would like to see, though, in the future is more creative ways to bring in money to the library on your own, like maybe fundraising, or if you guys ever thought about charging maybe like a $5 or $10 library card.
Then we wouldn't be a public library. We would lose our state
Okay.
funding. You can't charge for the public services in
Okay.
order to retain it. We have a very active Friends organization. They raised, in a good year before the pandemic, they were raising about $15,000 a year for the library through book sales alone. The board has always felt that everybody's contributing in the community, and we want to respect that. We don't want to always be, having our hand out. But the Friends raise a lot of money through the book sales, and that helps further our mission. Now, our 2021 annual report and I-90 were a little misleading because the Friends weren't able to be active during the pandemic. So, not for want of not wanting to help, but they just weren't able to do as much because of the pandemic. A lot of them have health concerns, they're older, and they weren't able to do as much.
Understandable. Okay.
But thank you for your support. I
Yeah,
appreciate
absolutely.
that.
Thanks for coming by.
All right, my pleasure. Thank you very much for your questions.
Thank you. And our last resident was Kim about the pickleball courts. I believe Manager Falk probably was working with Director Miller and our comp plan on that, so we didn't forget about you. We'll come up with something and see if we can work on a project for you. Any other responses, citizens input? All right. Approval meetings minutes for the special meeting 9/15/22.
Motion to approve.
Second.
Discussion. All in favor by stating aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes 7-0. For the regular meeting 9/21/22.
Motion to approve.
Second.
Discussion. All in favor by stating aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes 7-0. Payment of bills.
Motion to approve voucher number 16799 through voucher number 16862.
Second.
Discussion. All in favor by stating aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes 7-0. Staff reports, Public Works report, Director Albert. Anything to add to your report tonight, sir?
I have nothing more to add.
All right.
Rich, I want to thank you for Calderville Road. I went out and looked at it, and I notified the complainant. She saw you guys working on it. In regards to the drainage off the hillside, actually, that was from a resident, right? Was that their downspouts or
It was
French
a
drain?
natural spring,
natural spring?
Sure.
That you piped into our system?
correct.
You had to cross the road, is that right? Or
No, we didn't do it. We were able to keep it on that side.
On
and
that
tie it in,
side.
yes.
Very good. I want to thank you for keeping your word. I brought that up to you, I think it was in February or March, and reminded you a few times, and you guaranteed me it would be done by the freeze, and you kept your word, so I appreciate that.
I got it by a week.
Yeah, yeah. Now, what about Lynch Drive?
Well, I'm still working on that, but I
Okay.
hope maybe we can get that resolved before the winter season as well.
All right, thank you.
Thank you. Anything else tonight, Director Albert?
I have a question, Rich.
Sure.
Any further updates on Airview, the bottom of Airview by Ms. Pishko's house?
Well, so far, so good. Bob Robinson, our engineer, had been out there on several heavy rains since all the work's been completed. We met out there, we had a big meeting out there with the contractor, with the water authority, over a month or so ago. They brought all their stuff back and milled and redid it with Bob's supervision while, he was there during the milling and reprofiling, and it seems to be working really well. They did their share. We added to it by raising the curb in some locations, and we had a pretty heavy rain since then, and Bob was on site during that downfall, and everything flowed correctly, and she should have no more problems. So.
Thank you so much.
Anything else on Public Works? Thank you, Director Albert.
Sure.
Park Recreations Report, Director Miller. Anything to add to your report tonight, sir?
I do, if I may, just have a few moments, please. I wanted to thank Kim Brow for coming back to the meeting tonight and expressing her interest in the sport of pickleball, and also with regards to parks, recreation, and healthy lifestyle. So it's refreshing to see you back here, Kim, and promoting pickleball. I know that some of the members of the Board of Commissioners are proponents of pickleball. I also want to go on the record and let Kim know that our Parks and Recreation Department here in North Huntington is a very open-minded department. Just in the last year, we created a number of facility improvements that I'm hoping Joe Napsha can follow up on with our 18-hole disc golf course that has seen 16,000 rounds of disc golf in the last 7 months here. We've also just recently completed, for those of you that don't know, I believe it was in your report though, but we recently completed a fitness trail down at Lions Park with new fitness equipment that surrounds that walking trail. So again, I just want Kim to know, as well as the rest of the residents that are watching the meeting this evening, that we're very open-minded to creating more community opportunities through our Parks and Recreation Department. And with any luck, working with Manager Falk and some funding and budgeting things, that we can see more of these things. But I will say this, I do want to caution you, they do come with a cost. When we talk about pickleball, and Kim mentioned last week, and I heard your comments, that pickleball is the fastest growing sport in the country, it does come with a cost. I've reached out to some of my colleagues. I know that the city of Pittsburgh is recently converting 3 tennis courts into 10 pickleball courts, but it's at the cost of $500,000. Butler, a neighboring community to the north, is installing 6 new pickleball courts to add to their 13 courts, which would make 19 courts there. I mean, it's a pickleball haven. That's coming to the tune of about $240,000. So there will be a cost to creating these sort of opportunities, but again, I'll continue to work with Manager Falk and budgeting and grant writing and whatever funding that we can find.
Very economical. I could probably find a way of doing it.
Kim, I noticed you were very economical when I went to your home to see the pickleball court that you put on Township Street. So I just want to warn you, be careful that you don't get hurt with public safety. But yes, I did see that. When we were kids, we used to put kickball courts on the street. So I applaud you for wanting to play and your passion for wanting to play.
Mom and her boyfriend built a pickleball court. It was nowhere near that amount. So I mean,
Well, as Manager Falk will tell you, he likes to say that in North Huntington, we like to do things first class and get it right. So I can assure you that when we do, we will do it right. Good. I think we can, I'd like to talk with you further, and I think we can temporarily find something that can at least appease you. Okay? Okay, so that's all I have. Thank you.
Thank you, Director Miller. Police report, Chief Rizzo.
I have nothing to add to the report, but I do have a few things. The carving with the cop is about full. I think it is full. Juliana, I think we hit it 21. So that's pretty much what we're going to be at for the carving with the cop, which will be Saturday at 2:30 at the Pavilion at Indian Lake. And then we're going to transition right into that. Officers are going to be at the Haunted Trail from 4 to 6, handing out candy during that time period. So we'll be out there doing the 2 community events from about 2 o'clock till about 6 o'clock that night. And also, we advertised for the Civilian Police Academy for the fall. We had to cancel it due to low numbers. We feel that it was going into the holiday season and we just weren't getting the numbers, so that we're going to regroup and re-advertise in the winter and go for a spring class. Get away from the holidays coming up, because this was going to push in through Thanksgiving. So we just think the time of the year wasn't right. So we'll regroup, get it back out there, maybe around February to try to fire it off for the spring. Okay.
Thank you. Any questions for the chief tonight?
I do. Chief, Halloween's coming up.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, how are you guys set for handling Halloween and staff that you'll have and
It's
making
generally
sure
not
folks are-
it's generally not too much of an issue for us because it's a
Okay.
big public safety night.
Right.
The volunteer fire companies are out pretty heavy in force. I haven't looked at the staffing on the shift, to be perfectly honest with you, beyond what it's staffed. Haven't taken a look at it, but it's generally not an issue, but just because of the amount of firemen and EMS that are out that night. We really saturate those areas. So, but I'll go take a look at it.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Thank you, Chief.
You're welcome.
Emergency management report. Any questions on the report tonight? Planning and zoning report, Director Fonzie. Any questions on the fire officials report tonight? All right, subdivision land development, Director Fonzie.
I do have 4 items set for your approval tonight. The first is subdivision 18 of 2022, the Arnold and Smith Plan on Legger Road, requesting board action to approve this subdivision.
Motion to approve.
Second.
Discussion. All in favor by stating an aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion approved, 7-0.
Next item is site plan 16 of 2022, the Pizza Marsala site plan, requesting board action to approve a restaurant on State Route 30.
Motion to approve.
Second.
Discussion. All those in favor by state and I.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes 7-0.
Next is subdivision 19 of 2022, the Almeda Brensel Plan on Bridge Street, requesting board action to approve this subdivision.
Motion to approve?
Second.
Discussion? All in favor by state and I.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion approved, 7-0.
And the last item is subdivision 20 of 2022, the Timco Nichols Plan on Turner Valley Road, requesting board action to approve this boundary line revision.
So moved.
Second.
Discussion? All those in favor by state and I.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion approved, 7-0.
That's all I have. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Director Fonzie. Solicitor's report, Solicitor Alexander.
Thank you, Mr. President. There are no action items on the solicitor's report for this month.
All right, thank you. Township Manager report, Manager Falk.
Item number 1, action to approve the September check register.
Motion to approve?
Second.
Discussion? All those in favor by state and I.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion approved, 7-0.
You have a copy of the September 22 budget report. Are there any questions? None moving forward. Action item number 3, action to approve pay application number 7 in the amount of $44,392.50 to East West Manufacturing for the townhouse HVAC renovation.
Motion to approve. Second.
Discussion?
How is that and where are we percentage-wise? Are we 70% done, 30% done? Where are we on completion?
I believe we're about 90 to 95% completed.
And are we satisfied?
So far, we have had a little hiccups, but we have a system in-house now that would control the functions of all 9 hair handlers.
And will those hiccups be rectified before we issue the final?
Absolutely.
Very good. Thank you.
All right, I have a motion and a second. Any other discussion? All those in favor by state and I.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion approved, 7-0.
Item number 4, action to approve change orders for a total of $99,850.41 for the 2022 milling and resurfacing program.
Motion.
to approve?
Second.
Discussion? All in favor by state and I.
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion approved, 7-0.
Item number 5, action to approve pay application number 2 in the amount of $670,572.95 to A. Liberoni Incorporation for the 2022 milling and resurfacing program.
Motion to approve?
Second.
Discussion? All in favor by state and I.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion approved, 7-0.
Item number 6, action to approve pay application number 1 in the amount of $125,661 to Russell Standard for the 2022 Bituminous Fiber Reinforcement Seal Coat Program, contract number 2022-02.
Motion to approve.
Second.
Discussion? All in favor by state and I.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion approved, 7-0.
Item number 7, action to approve pay application number 1 in the amount of $58,909.78 to JP Operations for the McCannon Road Stormwater Improvement Project.
Motion to approve?
Second.
Discussion? All in favor by state and I.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion approved, 7-0.
Item number 8, action to submit CDBG 2023 grant application on behalf of the North Huntington Township Municipal Authority for a residential lateral sanitary sewer replacement in the amount of $176,000.
Motion to approve?
Second.
Discussion? All in favor by state and I.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion approved, 7-0.
Item number 9, action to purchase a Johnston street sweeper in the amount of $307,599 from the U.S. Municipal under CoStar's contract number 025-019.
Motion to approve?
Second.
Discussion?
Just a couple, if I may. What is the payment plan on this, if this is approved? What's the duration in payment? Is it 3 years, 5 years?
It's
We're paying it
gonna,
off?
it's gonna be 5 years.
5 years.
I imagine a couple $1,000s more. We're gonna go with the same bank since they were the lowest
Okay.
in the previous bid.
Okay. And if I could add something. For everybody who wants to know, the street sweeper is really tied into the MS4 program. I did my due diligence and checked it out. Municipal separate storm sewer system, but don't get the word sewer confused with toiletry sewer. We're talking rainwater. The storm system that this is, MS3 system collects mostly rainwater and is separate from the sanitary sewer system. That's important to know. The sanitary sewer flows to a treatment facility where the water is cleaned before it is discharged into a waterway. Now, that would be the North Huntington Township Municipal Water Association, right? NHTMA. And they do a great job. Word on the street is the water is actually cleaner by the time it goes into the stream than the stream is downstream. So that's good news for the fish and the biology and everything that's involved. Why are you guys smiling at me? Hey, fishing's important here. Unlike, however, the sanitary sewer, water in the MS4 is not treated before it is discharged into a waterway, and that gets us into the Chesapeake spillway system. As we know, Rich, at no fault of your own, modern technology has us using salt and brine. Is that right? Okay. As we know, as the rains come and the water comes, that salt and brine gets into the water system, which gets pushed down into the creeks, into the streams, into the rivers, and then ultimately winds up in the ocean, and that's all part of the Chesapeake watershed. So why am I saying all this? As you guys know, I was really against, it's a big bill, $307,000. I don't think anybody's going to say, hey, that's a small bill. That's a big bill. But you know what? Under the MS4 program, it is mandatory that we have a street sweeper. So, full circle. I'm going to go ahead and support this. I know that we'll vote on it, but I just wanted a little bit of an education behind why I'm changing my vote to yes. It is mandatory through the MS4 program, and it is definitely for the sake of the environment. So that's my piece on it.
Thank you, Eric.
Thank you for.
Any other board discussion?
I'd just like to clarify, we're in a different watershed than the Chesapeake. Our water would have to go up over the mountain to get into the Chesapeake. But we do have our own
must have misread that.
watershed.
Sorry.
And one thing that people should be aware of is that you mentioned that the water is not treated. And so whenever you drip gasoline onto the pavement and do other things like that, that eventually does go into the streams. So people should be careful about things like that. That's all I wanted to add.
Thank you, Virginia. All right. There's no other discussion. We have a motion and a second. All those in favor by state and aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion approved 7-0.
Action to appoint to the Western Westmoreland Municipal Authority.
Motion to approve.
I make a motion, we appoint Robert Regola to WWMA.
I'll
Do
second.
you want to second that
I
motion?
will second
All right.
Rich Gray's motion.
All right. Have a motion and a second. Any discussion? All in favor by state and aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion approved 7-0.
Number 11, action to advertise an ordinance authorizing its joinder and participation in an intergovernmental police mutual aid agreement.
Motion to approve.
Second.
Discussion? All in favor by state and aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion approved 7-0.
Number 12, action to approve a resolution amending the local tax collection law, waiving additional charges for real estate taxes in certain situations.
Motion to approve?
Second.
Discussion? All in favor by state and aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion approved 7-0.
Number 13, action to hire Matthew Pierce for the position of truck driver / laborer in the Public Works Department at a rate of $20.67 per the collective bargaining agreement, contingent upon successful pre-employment drug and alcohol testing.
Motion to approve.
Second?
Discussion? All in favor by saying an aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion approved 7-0.
Number 14, action to award the commodity bid for the storm inlet frames and grates to EJ Company of Monroeville, PA, for a total of $64,306.
Motion to approve.
Second.
Discussion? All in favor by saying an aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion approved 7-0.
Number 15, action to award the commodity bid for various stone to Hanson Aggregates of Connellsville, PA, for a total of $211,846.
Motion to approve.
Second?
Discussion? All in favor by saying an aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion approved 7-0.
Number 16, action to award the commodity bid for anti-skid material to Ligonier Stone and Lime Company of Latrobe, PA, for a total of $37,620.
Motion to approve.
Second?
Discussion? All in favor by saying an aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion approved 7-0.
Number 17, action to award the commodity bid for various size drainage pipe to Pleasant Unity Supply of Pleasant Unity, PA, for a total of $187,657.
Motion to approve.
Second.
Discussion? All in favor by saying an aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion approved 7-0.
Number 18, action to award the commodity bid for bituminous surfacing material to Hanson Aggregates of Connellsville, PA, for a total of $75,250.
Motion to approve.
Second.
Discussion? All in favor by saying an aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion approved 7-0.
Number 19, action to award the commodity bid for Type B cold patch to Hayway LLC of Sarver, PA, for the total of $19,000.
Motion to approve.
Second.
Discussion? All in favor by saying an aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion approved 7-0.
And item number 20, action to award the commodity bid for Class A concrete to JLB Holding Incorporation of North Huntington, PA, for a total of $74,000.
Motion to approve?
Second.
Discussion? All in favor by saying an aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion approved 7-0.
That is all I have for this month.
All right, thank you, Manager Falk. Any further board comments?
Just one quickly. I had a gentleman contact me. He did not leave his name nor his telephone number. His number came up private. I could not return his call. He had asked specifically that Halloween be moved to Saturday, and having spoken to, we've already taken, what's the word I'm looking for?
We voted.
We
Action
voted on
on
it.
it.
Yeah, thank you. That's the word I'm looking for. Thank God. So I'm sorry to report to this gentleman, whoever you might be, sir, that, Halloween is going to be this Monday night, or the 31st, rather. Not this Monday night, but the 31st. But it will be up for discussion for the year 2023, as opposed, you had asked for a weekend. So just know that we heard you, and that it will enter into discussion for the 2023 Halloween year. Thank you.
Just to follow up on that, we did that one time. We changed it for convenience. Never again. Yeah.
Wait a second, is real well?
It's not likely to happen.
Is that sarcasm for, it went bad? Okay, you heard it here, folks. It went bad. Okay, thanks. Thank you, gentlemen.
Any other further board comments tonight?
Yeah, I just would like to follow up on Eric. We occasionally, all of us, get anonymous letters or telephone calls or what have you The public doesn't need to feel that they have to be anonymous, because we're here to help the public. So don't ever be afraid to call any of us, or our contact information is on the website.
Thank you, Virginia. Anything else tonight? If not, I just need a
Motion to adjourn.
Second?
Second.
discussion. All in favor by stating an aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes 7-0. Meeting adjourned at 7:45.